Yeah. Thank you. Hi.
So, way back when you were younger,
Maybe let's find another way to phrase this question. Long, long ago, when you still had some life left in you.
You played Eric on Charmed, and I was wondering if you had any memories, or like if you remember what the actors were like.
No, I don't have any memories. Flashes. Well, I can't tell if it's a dream or not. I do somehow remember it. So Charmed. I was on Charmed. I guest starred on Charmed, and it was my first big role in film or television. It was, it was a substantial guest star role. And I was very nervous because I had no idea what I was doing, and as I should have been nervous. I was terrible. If you can imagine, even worse than I am now. I was that bad. And for example, I learned on that set, I learned what a mark is. And a mark is, they put a piece of tape where you're supposed to stop. And that way the focus puller can get you in focus. And they were like, make sure you hit your mark. And I was like, whose mark? Why am I hitting him? Why am I hitting him? I don't know what is going on. I was completely lost. And I learned about continuity for the first time. Like if you're picking something up at a certain point in the dialogue, you've got to pick it up at the same point each take. Didn't know that. Nobody told me. And it's really awkward when Alyssa Milano is the one that's explaining it to you. Because she's like, how did we hire this guy? She was very flirty, which was nice. We had a kissing scene. My character was supposed to recur on the show. After my performance, they went in a different direction on that story. But so in the script, it was sort of set up like I was a romantic, character, and Alyssa Milano and I had a little thing going, and we had a kissing scene, and she slipped me the tongue. And yeah, I mean, she was batting my tonsils around, and I was like, this is awesome. I love being an actor. This is so cool. And then there was like there was a lot of tension on the set. I remember a lot of the actresses were crying and upset about things. I don't know, those issues that I had no idea about because I was just a lowly guest star. But there was a little party. Everybody went out to a bar one night, and my wife came, and she went up to Alyssa Milano, and she was like, hey, you kissed my boyfriend. And Alyssa, or maybe husband, I don't remember what we were at that point. And Alyssa did not find it funny. It was a very awkward joke. Didn't play well at all. You asked for memories, I'm giving them to you. What else can I tell you about it? Oh, so then subsequently, years later, I did a pilot with, do you know what a pilot is? You do? Oh, aren't you smart? So pilot TV show, and Alyssa Milano played my sister. And because, what? No? Okay. So she played my sister, and when we got to set for the first time, I was like, hey, Alyssa, how you doing? Because I knew that she had a thing for me because she had, kissed me so vigorously. She did not remember who I was. At all, which was a bit disappointing. And that's about it. I had a really squeaky voice. I remember that, too. My father-in-law said, if you're going to keep doing this, you should maybe try not to have such a squeaky voice. When he saw it, which I thought was good advice. And then I went in the opposite direction. Are you okay? Oh. to show me an animation? Really? Well, you're crying, and there's about 2,000 people watching. So if I said no at this point, I think that would come across pretty badly. So I think we should take a look at it. Can we put it on the camera, though? Is that possible? How would we put it up on the screen? Is there a
Just hold it up and we'll get the camera to focus on it.
Okay.
Okay? Just aim it at the camera.
All right, you're gonna just bring it over to the camera. That's good. Okay, we're gonna watch this animation. Does it have anything to do with Jensen having sex? This could be another one of those moments where we regret. She's like, she tricked us, and now she's gonna play porn in front of them. Okay, here it comes. There it is. There's the animation. I am too. Oh man. Okay, try not to shake. Wrong screen. We're watching a child's memory game, I think. I feel like we're watching a tech support film. Yep. Is that an Etch-a-Sketch in your hand? What are you doing? I made you an animation. Well, actually, it's an Etch-a-Sketch. Hold on. This is going to take a few years. That's okay. There's only a few thousand people watching, so take your time. There we go. That felt satisfying, that little click. Select. Ah, it is Etch-a-Sketch. Hey. Hashtagging graffiti. Thank you. That is incredibly sweet of you, and I loved your animation. Thank you. Well, I'm sorry that you didn't sleep. That was also very surreal watching it end on me watching myself. I felt like it almost had a nightmarish quality at the finish. Thank you. Who's next? We have a few more questions, maybe? We'll go super fast through a few. Let's do that. Hi. Like me. Okay, you go,
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it's gonna be hard to follow that, but in situations like this where you're trying to be like funny or witty, besides...
Well, wow, I wasn't a weird one. Just so you know, a lot of the questions have been starting with things like, so when you're sometimes, you try to be funny, right? Or, remember way back when you were younger? Way back when you were young?
Remember the olden days?
When you didn't have to try to be funny?
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, in situations like this where I'm trying desperately to be funny.
well, besides when you were talking with Claire, what has like been one of the most embarrassing or things that you regret saying just in the moment?
Oh, take a number. I mean,
Why are you making me why are you doing this to me? No, I've definitely said lots of things. I mean, I think that it's, how about you guys? I was mentioning that before I come up on stage, I always say a little prayer. It's a little centering prayer where I say to myself, Misha, please don't say something that is going to land you in jail, you stupid fuck.
I rarely get emotional.
And I do feel like there are times when, you know, I mean, obviously we keep everything very much on the straight and narrow here. It's pretty much just straight up question and answer.
Jeez.
Did someone just flatulate into the microphone? I swear.
There has been problems. Here's what happens.
Yeah, what does happen?
Every now and then things happen on stage because it's so loose and it's so improvisational that things will happen, and you'll get off the stage and think, well, that probably was a mistake.
Yeah. So, for instance, when Rich was miming giving me a blowjob.
That's exactly. I was going to say simulating fellatio. Sure, miming a blowjob.
True story, did happen. Might have been here. I don't know where it was.
It was on stage.
I was here. I'll never forget.
It seemed like a great idea in the moment. And
So-
the second I got on stage.
There's a lot of those little examples where you do things just because you feel so free, and you feel like this is such an accepting environment, and people aren't going to judge you. Well, that's wrong. That's not true. They are judging you, and it's not cool to get up on stage in front of a bunch of children and pretend you're blowing each other.
Right. So there's one takeaway.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. There's a takeaway. Don't do that.
You know the old saying, "Blow me once, shame on you. Blow me twice." There's something in there. There is really a lesson for the kids watching at home and the authorities.
You did check in, by the way, guys. You did it again.
Damn it. Why'd you rope me into this? This is your panel. Answer her questions. We can move on from this. Or
Can we have a different question that starts with something flattering? Not from you?
Anybody's smile goes away.
Okay, so at BurCon, at the meet and greet, sorry, you told me that we're not a product of our past. And that really got to me. And I was just wondering, at what point in time did you come to that conviction? Like, at what point in your life did you decide that that wasn't true, that we're not?
God, that's a great question. I was listening to a story on the radio the other day about a guy who had grown up as a child soldier in Africa, and now he lives in New York, and he's incredibly well-adjusted and thoughtful, but he had gone through the single most horrific experience that you can imagine. He was kidnapped and forced to be a child soldier, and so obviously that shapes who he was, but at the same time he managed to transcend it, you know, so I think that there's some sort of transcendence that happens. We are certainly shaped by everything that happens to us, you know. When Rich pretended to fellatiate me, that will forever slightly alter the trajectory of my life, but I don't let it define me.
Really? Because that's how I define you.
I don't know. I don't think that there was a specific time when I came to that particular realization, but I think it's definitely true. Like we can move past things. Hopefully, I'm hoping to anyway.
With it, you know, God willing, and the creek don't rise, and the therapy pays off. I will somehow erase that moment. Or my children will find it on the web. One of the two.
They will find it. That's something also, a sidebar that I do think about is like when the kids grow up, they're